The only local news teams taking action for you. KIMA KEPR Action News starts now.
There's no place in America. There's no place in America for this kind of violence, or for any violence ever. Period. No exceptions.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado. President Biden vehemently condemning violence in America in a rare Oval Office speech last night, one day after the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump at a Pennsylvania rally Saturday. The 6.5-minute address called for Americans to put aside political divide and come together to stand for the decency and grace in America, not extremism and fury.
Disagreement is inevitable in American democracy. It's part of human nature. But politics must never be a literal battlefield, or God forbid, a killing field. I believe politics ought to be an arena for peaceful debate, to pursue justice, to make decisions guided by the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution.
Now, President Biden also telling America there are a lot of unknowns, like the motive, opinions, or affiliations of the shooter, if he had help or spoke to others about his plan. What we do know is that the FBI has taken over the investigation as those questions mount, including how an attempt could have even happened in the first place. Here's national correspondent Christine Frizzau.
An incident not seen in a generation. Now the start of a new chapter of modern history. The assassination attempt of the former president and current presumptive presidential nominee, leaving a nation stunned. New video from TMZ showing the suspected shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, in the moments before he was killed by Secret Service. The AP reporting a local police officer tried to confront the shooter, but backed away when the gun was pointed at him. The suspect's yearbook photos seen here. The crime now being investigated by the FBI as a domestic terror attack.
That bullet went just apparently a millimeter from doing real and permanent damage to him, or perhaps taking his life.
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson promising a full investigation into how Donald Trump was left so vulnerable, following witness accounts like this.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof. We're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely.
Police say he had explosives in his car and at his home, and was just about 200 to 300 yards away from the stage where Donald Trump was speaking.
How is it that someone could get on a roof with a superior position with a weapon and attempt to assassinate former President Donald Trump? It's just unthinkable, unfathomable. We need to know, is this a protocol failure? Is this a resources issue?
A defiant Donald Trump arriving in Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention, saying he decided not to delay his trip, posting, "I cannot allow a shooter or potential assassin to force change to scheduling or anything else." President Joe Biden from the Oval Office addressing the nation Sunday night.
A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We cannot, we must not go down this road in America.
A former Pennsylvania fire chief, Corey Comparator, was killed while attending the Butler County rally. His sister posting this photo on Facebook saying, "My baby brother had just turned 50. Former First Lady Melania Trump posting this statement on X, calling the country to ascend above the hate, the vitriol, and the simple-minded ideas that ignite violence. President Joe Biden is echoing those calls for unity, as are many of his fellow Democrats, saying it's time to stop calling for him to step down out of concern for his debate performance or his poll numbers, and instead stand behind him during this difficult time for our country. I'm Christine Frizzau reporting.
The attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump was greeted with unanimous condemnation by Washington elected officials, political party leaders, and candidates. In separate interviews with KOMO News, Washington GOP Chairman Jim Walsh and State Attorney General Bob Ferguson all called for calm and dialing down political rhetoric. Walsh heard the news while at a Milwaukee Brewers game in Wisconsin in the hours before the start of the planned Republican National Convention, saying, quote, "Some of us who are in the Republican Party who are supporters of Trump, we've been dreading this because the rhetoric that's directed at the man is so vitriolic. The people who dislike him, who really oppose him, they really hate him," end quote. Ferguson has campaigned in part about protecting Washington state from a future Trump presidency. When asked about that, Ferguson said, quote, What I just think about now, after sort of a cowardly attack during my time as Attorney General and Donald Trump was president, we settled our agreements in a courtroom. I think that's the way it should be, through the ballot box, through the court system, through debates. Ferguson added that he was thankful that the former president was okay. Now, Washington State Democratic Party Chair Shasti Conrad tweeted that the state Democrats condemn political violence in the strongest of terms. Violence has no place in our democracy, and that's a quote from her. And gubernatorial candidate Dave Reichert said, quote, "I'm sort of disappointed and sad that this is happening in our great country."
And switching gears and moving on to weather, there are quite a lot of wildfires now burning in the Pacific Northwest. We'll show the wildfire map later in the newscast, and it's pretty astonishing what's happened just since Friday. Looking out at the Tri-Cities this morning, you can certainly see some of that haze and smoke. This is looking to the south, and it is in Oregon that things have really gotten pretty dicey here in the last several days. Again, I'll show that wildfire map in a bit. Right now, it's 73 degrees in the Tri-Cities under mostly clear skies. This is going to set the stage for another hot day coming our way. Looking at our weather headlines, the hot high temperatures are going to continue for not only today, but throughout the course of this week. There's going to be that mixture of haze and sun, again, because of some of the amount of wildfires that are now burning in the Pacific Northwest. But the week is going to be primarily calm with just one day of potential active weather. We'll talk more about that in a bit.
Thanks, Jefferson. Moving on to some local news. Firefighters rushed to a house fire in Finley Sunday afternoon. According to Benson County Fire District 1 Chief Scott Laparco, it happened just after 4:30 when they got several calls about a house on fire. Crews arrived to a trailer home on fire, but it quickly spread to a house nearby and damaged a third. All the while, crews dealing with the heat. We asked Chief Laparco if the red flag conditions had an impact on the fire.
That didn't, except for the fact that everybody that's here that's worked, even if they've worked a few minutes, they're completely exhausted right now. That's why we've got 2 medic units here, and we're trying to make sure people get fluids and get rehabbed real quick so they feel a little better and can get, back into shape to fight fire if we need them to.
Chief Laparco says despite the heat, no serious injuries were reported. He says it's unclear what caused the first house to catch fire, but they'll be looking for potential causes. And that wasn't the only blaze to pop up, as firefighters in Kennewick were staying busy over the weekend dealing with multiple fires. According to KFD Chief Chad Michael, the first fire happened just around 11:15 Friday night when an RV caught fire behind a home in the 8000 block of Yellowstone Avenue. Crews were able to prevent the fire from spreading to any homes, but not before it damaged a nearby shed. The next fires happened Saturday, starting just after 3 in the afternoon. Chief Michael says they've responded and found 3 separate fires burning brush in the area along Canal Drive near the railroad tracks. All the fires were knocked down and no injuries were reported. Switching gears, the city of Hermiston is teaming up with the Arbor Day Foundation and Amazon Web Services to plant dozens of trees at a local venue. According to city officials, over 30 volunteers from the organizations came together Thursday to plant over 3 dozen trees at the Eastern Oregon Trade and Event Center. Eventually growing to provide shade, city leaders say they're also excited about the impact the trees will have on the city's air quality and the general improvements to community health that's associated with trees. As the weekend has come to an end in Yakima, we take a look at some of the local events that happened in the area. One of them was the Bring It Back to the Streets 3-on-3 basketball tournament in Yakima. The event kicked off Friday night with a free throw and 3-point contest. The dunk contest was canceled due to no participants. However, when we got there yesterday morning, none of the championship teams had showed up and everything was being torn down. We also found out that some of the businesses nearby complained about the event. We did speak to an organizer of the event who says they still had a good turnout over the weekend and received lots of local support. They plan to bring it back next year and will have additional coverage of the event later this week. Another event taking place was the Smash and Splash baseball tournament in Yakima. Teams ranging from 8U to 14U competed in baseball tournaments at the Gateway and Kiwanis complexes in Yakima, as well as the McGonigal complex in Sela. Teams began to play Friday and wrapped up Sunday, with championship games being played in the evening. Normally, a Smash and Splash party is held Saturday night, but it was canceled due to the extreme heat. The 2025 Smash and Splash tournament will be held July 11th through the 13th. Now, Jefferson, let's talk that heat, because it got mighty hot over the weekend. I was walking the dog yesterday, and I saw it was at 104. So we're definitely seeing those Temperatures stick around, those triple-digit temps stick around. Are we having any reprieve in the forecast this week?
No, not primarily. Upper 90s to low 100s are just going to be commonplace. Not too different than what we saw last week, although last week we did see those days of 108 and 109 degrees. This week we're not going to be seeing those kinds of temperatures, but highs between 100 and 105 degrees are going to be fairly commonplace as we look at hazy sunshine overhead. There's a look at what you can expect for today. I'll continue to break down your forecast, and we will talk about some of the big wildfires that are now burning in the state of Oregon coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. The time now is 5:10. Coming up on KEPR this morning, national news. 4 people are dead and 9 others injured in a mass shooting at an Alabama nightclub this weekend. Investigators believe it was a lone gunman, but no suspects have been identified. We'll fill you in after the break, but later in the show, health news. A new study shows most Americans are a bit unclear on what's normal for women after having kids. The study says pain, pressure, and incontinence are deemed normal, but that's not really the case. We'll have more details on that as the show continues. Stay with us.